Games Workshop are never sending me anything free, are they?
Nope.
Never mind. Welcome back to Lizard of Doom. Great start. Welcome back to Lizard of Doom. It's your boy Max. I used to work retail for GW and I've asked for questions in the comments and I'll be answering some more of them today. So I'll get into it. Our first question today is from Lawrence Bostock. Would anyone try and return half-glued and painted stuff? Now, no one tried to return half-glued and painted stuff. The closest I ever had to this was when someone bought a big Tau battlesuit, the big Gundam one, back in and said there was missing parts. So, let me have a look. Let me see what's missing here. Because if something's missing, it's going to be a whole sprue that's missing. Got it open on the counter, looked at the sprue, and he'd clearly clipped out the weapons that he wanted for something else probably. So I looked at it, and I looked at him, and I said, it's been clipped out. And he looked at me, oh yeah. And then I put it back in the box, shut the box, and slid it across the counter. And he just picked up the box and left. Gotcha! You can't scam me. Next question. This one's from Kutmoki. Have you ever needed to kick someone out of a GW store? And if so, why? Yes. A very drunk man wandered in once to look at the cool little guys and nearly fell over into a full table of someone's painted army who was having a game. He then was adamant it wasn't his fault and was very rude and then was swiftly helped to leave the store. Next question. This is from Dark Ben. Did you see many girls playing in the store? Sometimes. So I don't really want to generalise here, but generally they were partners of male players that were coming in to play as well. And they would tend to lean, the female partners would either tend to lean towards Sylvaneth if they were a fantasy or Age of Sigmar player, or Tyranids if they were a 40k player. That's a strange correlation I noticed when I worked there, and I don't know why that is. I know one of the hang-ups my partner has, she's behind you, it's not cute enough. What do you want? What models would you want? There's none you like, is there?
Fairies.
She would like fairies, please, Games Workshop. This like a whole fantasy game. Put some fairies in there, please. Thank you.
Fairies.
Fairies, 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 fairies. Why did you stop? You left me hanging there.
Fairies.
Fairies, 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 fairies. Not a question, but last time I read out someone's story about how someone shouted into a shop like this. Not a question, but funny. Marcus Maximus says, when my friend was running a GW store, someone shouted, "Expensive Lego!" Then ran off, lol. They're not wrong, I guess. And you guys really let me know that Lego is also expensive. Like, you wouldn't stop letting me know. Please stop letting me know. So, Bury It Deep comments, my first experience of a GW staff was telling me that I used the wrong green for my Dark Angels. There is no wrong green for your Dark Angels. They're your Dark Angels. Paint whatever colour you want, they're yours. And don't let anyone tell you you can't. So on the back of bad GW staff, I mentioned before that the manager that I kind of took over the store after just kind of disappeared. I'm not going to discuss why, because legal reasons. However, he left something behind. When I moved into the store, my friend suddenly realised when he was leaning on the shelf, oh, there's something under this shelf, like on shop floor shelf. And then we realised that's where this guy used to stand in the door to the back room, leaning on the side, and he used to pick his nose and wipe him under the shelf. And it was riddled under there. It was like something from Nurgle's garden under there. And that was not the only place I found them. Under the till, in the staff toilet, the mirror was in the middle like this, and there was a web, like a sticky spider web of bogies. Out the back, under the desk that you cashed up on. Disgusting. If you're out there and you know who you are and you see this video, disgusting. Philobscara asks, what is your experience with old kits and sets? Like, what does the store do with them when they go out of production? Now, generally, they bin them, which is a travesty, because these things, obviously, they're hard to get now, and they're just chucking them in the dumpster out the back. So if you know something's going out of production, maybe check the dumpster behind your GW when it does. So I had an experience when I worked there that the Chaos Space Marine line was getting completely repackaged. Nothing changing to the models, just the packaging was changing. And instead of posting our packaging back up to head office to get it put in new cardboard and sent back, or just sold through, like most of the shops would do, just sell the old stuff, then put the new stuff on the shelf, we had to bin it. It's called known lossing. If you work retail, you know what that is. I added it up. It was around £500 worth of stock that was just binned, because it was cheaper to do that, just to make more plastic and send it than repackage it. I think a big thing about GW's kind of sales monster is that they want to keep perceived value in the product, and they don't have sales. Nothing's ever on sale in GW. Maybe it is in third-party stores, but not in a Games Workshop. And that's to keep you perceiving their product as worth what they're charging for it. Or it is kind of a luxury brand in the miniatures world, the miniatures universe, and they're trying to keep it that way. And I understand why, but people aren't happy about it, and I know, and they know. Do they care? I don't know. This one is from Top Chris. None of them lower down Chris's on this channel, only the top Chris. Question. I remember the early 2000s stores used to be run by several staff members. Seemed like much more fun to work there in those days. Obviously, the great demon of cost cutting stripped this way back for profits and share prices. What is the next for GW stores? Are they actually necessary to get people into the hobby anymore? Yes. I'm going to tell you my experience of really getting into Warhammer now, and as a customer, I had a few bits and bobs from my local third-party store when I was a kid. I lived in quite a small town, and there was one toy shop there, and they carried a few Games Workshop stuff. I had a Tau tank, I had some fantasy orcs, and I had the metal cave troll that made me glue my little fingers like this as a child, and I got stuck like this several times. After that, I didn't touch it again till I was 18, from about the age of 8 to 18, so a decade there. And when I went to university, I had a 2-hour lunch break. So I went to town and wandered around, and wandered into the store that I would end up working in for a couple of years, and got addicted to the plastic crack. Now it's been 10 years since then. So I went 10 years clean, now I'm 10 years dirty. Did they say dirty? So yeah, I wasn't really moving in the nerdiest of circles when I was 18. And for people who are really into sci-fi fantasy, if you're on the internet like you all are right now, you will see things come up. Warhammer will be kind of in the zeitgeist. You will experience it somehow, whether it's video games or, videos of ex-Games Workshop staff telling you what it was like to work in the shop. And it'll be in there, and then you'll look online. You can get stuff cheaper online. So if you're in this kind of sphere, then no, I don't think the stores are necessary. But if you're a random passerby, a kid out with your dad or your mum, or out with your friends, going into the shop is like a little experience. You get treated like a celebrity. They let you roll dice and play a little game, and obviously you win. And then you do a little painting, and then you get to keep the guy. And that's exciting. The physicalness of that is exciting. And I don't think you'll be able to replace that. And I don't think Games Workshop stores are going anywhere anytime soon. On the subject of starting, I've got a question from VVPX, one of them. I've been wanting to get into Warhammer 40k for ages, but was kind of scared to visit my local GW. It felt like a different world, and I didn't want to be that new guy when everyone else seemed to know each other. Stupid, I know. Not stupid. You've got to remember, any hobby, whether it's gym, fishing, Warhammer, ballet, hunting humans for sport. Everyone was new at some point in these hobbies. Everyone was in your shoes, and it's our responsibility as a community to make these new people feel welcome. And it is also literally the staff's jobs to help you. If you find them to be condescending or a knob, because some Games Workshop staff and friendly local gaming store staff can be the gatekeepery hobby type, that needs to be stamped out in our community, and we need to become more welcoming. It is moving in the right direction, but I definitely recommend to snitch on them. If you discover a rude staff member in a Games Workshop store, That's not what Games Workshop want. And they shouldn't be doing that. So I reckon snitching on them, snitching's probably the wrong word if I'm promoting it. Just drop a little email to Games Workshop customer service, say, hey, I've been to this store, I dealt with Tim McGuffin, and I found him to be a bit rude. Stop laughing at Tim McGuffin. It was the best name I could come up with. I dealt with Tim McGuffin. If there's a Tim McGuffin that works in a Games Workshop, yeah, he's done for. You're fired, Tim. Go home. Obviously, you don't just rag on people because you don't like them. If they're generally rude to you, let Games Workshop know, because this isn't what this space is about. The majority of staff are lovely, helpful, friendly people. They may be a bit salesy, but it is their job. It is literally what they're getting paid to do, as well as teach you and get you into the hobby. So don't be afraid to be new in this. Everyone was there. Everyone's ruined a couple of Space Marines when they started. And welcome, join us, take my hand. Come on, we're going right now, me and you. We're going to Games Workshop, and we're going to not get Space Marines. I do quite like Space Marines. So will I go to Games Workshop with VVPEX or VVPEX, whatever the name is? You should remember to subscribe. I have a Patreon. Here are my lovely Patreons. You can join them too. You should definitely subscribe because that is free. So definitely do that one and maybe do this one, okay? Leave questions down in the comment section and I will answer them in the next one in about a month's time. And remember, it's not a pile of shame. It's a pile of future fun. See you next time.